The CW Twin Cities presents See What's Now, your entertainment news source.
Hey everybody, John Foss, CW Twin Cities, and I'm very excited because for the first time ever, I am talking with a gold medal winner. Gigi Marvin is in the house, and she was on the USA Women's Olympic hockey team that just won gold. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, it was awesome. Just having it around and being able to share it with everyone, it's such a dream. My teammates and I had a blast, obviously, as many saw how the game unfolded. And not only did it go to overtime or a shootout, but we needed extra shooters in the shootout. And so it was pretty dramatic, but I'm so proud of my teammates for just their resiliency and belief. And I mean, we had a blast. It was so fun.
And before this, you had 2 silvers. So what is it? First of all, can you hold this up and kind of show this camera over here?
Yeah.
But what's it like to finally get the top of the top, the gold medal?
I mean, it's amazing. It's,
Can I see that thing?
Yeah. You can't
I don't think
really
I've ever touched a gold medal before, so I am still like optimistic. I think I'll probably win one, win something. But if in case I don't, at least I still have. I'm getting to touch one now.
It looks good. It's a great accessory piece. My little niece loves it. She calls it my golden necklace. And
nice.
So, yeah. I mean, you can't really put it into words, but I mean, it's crushing the defeat of what we kind of experienced in Vancouver. Like you mentioned, we got a silver in Vancouver. We had a silver in Sochi, and so to finish it off with a gold in Korea was outstanding.
All right. Well, there's something I wanted to show you before we get into anything else. So my boss directed you in this.
Oh, that's.
Do you remember this?
Yes.
Tell us what this is.
Yes, that's the old Dutch commercial right after 2010. I had so much fun. I don't even think it took very long. Like, we were in and out of that rink, eating chips. I had a great time.
Well, he had a great story. He said that he had to basically kind of write a script, and it was very like boring and kind of like corporate-y and not very fun. And then I think just the day of the shoot, maybe he like told you just to kind of like have a good time, and this is what you came up with. And then he said that you guys didn't even shoot the actual script, so he was a little nervous to show the client. But the client loved it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we were in and out. It was so quick. It was easy. As you can see, it was pretty natural and fun. So we had a good time.
Nice. That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
And you are from Warroad, which is basically the kind of capital of the world for hockey, even though it's a small town. What was that like?
I mean, it's amazing. I grew up in a hockey town with a hockey family, so the skates were going on no matter what. And it just so happened that I fell in love with it. And, you know, it's just the culture there. You get out of school and you go over to the rink and you skate. We have an open door policy, which means it's kind of understood that whatever age you are, you can still go and skate with a different age group. So say when I was a peewee, which is 7th grade, I would, after school, go skate with the high school girls or the high school team, and then go across to a different rink at 5 and then skate with my dad's peewee team, go home, have dinner, and come back and skate with a group at open hockey. And so it was just kind of the lifestyle where you just go to the rink all the time and have so much fun.
Yeah, and I saw footage of you skating when you were, I mean, it looks like you were about 2 years old. Did you learn to walk or skate first?
I think it is for sure a combination of both. I'm sure I walked before I skated. Actually, we brought my little niece, I literally brought her to the rink the day after she walked, and she was 1.5 years. And I think that's the earliest I've ever seen a kid on skates. So it's just so cute. She loves it, and she has the biggest smile. And my little nephew now is 1.5, and so he's on his skates too. But it's just kind of what you do, and we have so much fun. And that's the thing. Like, if people don't enjoy skating, they don't necessarily go. But like, we have such a good time there, and as you can tell, it's a family thing. Like, I brought my niece and my nephew and our cousins all go, so we have a good time.
And a huge rivalry with Roseau?
Yes, that's ingrained in us when we're born too.
How did you do against them?
I'm pretty sure we were undefeated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I have great friends from there, and I'm proud of them also. I mean, how impressive to come from such a small town with such deep hockey roots. And I know that a lot of their players played on my grandpa's team with the Warroad Lakers, and obviously now everyone's cheering for Dustin Byfuglien with the Jets. And so it's kind of fun for Roseau County because you got Dustin Byfuglien with the Jets and then TG Oshie with the Caps.
And you grew up with family kind of coaching you too, right? Your dad was your Pee Wee coach, and then your uncle was your high school coach?
My dad was my Pee Wee coach. My uncle took over the girls program after I graduated, so I was never coached by my uncle David. But our whole family is involved in hockey. My grandpa, like I mentioned, ran the most successful men's amateur team, professional team ever. with the World Lakers for 50 years, and started the North Dakota program for hockey. My uncle and cousins, a lot of cousins, have actually gone and played for the men's and women's team in North Dakota. My brother played at St. Cloud. I have cousins who went also to Minnesota. I mean, it's just kind of spread out throughout the state and the country, but very thankful and appreciative for just the path that my family has forged.
Yeah, and you mentioned TJ, Oshie. You guys actually grew up together, right? You guys played together as kids, and then you graduated together, and you were homecoming king and queen. Is that right?
Frosty Fest king and queen, yeah.
Okay, awesome. What's that?
It's just the winter formal. So,
okay.
yeah, it's amazing. Like to think, I mean, we graduated the class 113, and here you are in Sochi, Russia, 2014 for the Olympics, and you have 2 of your graduating class playing for Team USA. I mean, it was crazy. Like I remember sitting in the cafeteria in the Olympics, and you know, he's just walking by. Hey, Gigi, going to the rink. See ya. You know, and I'm like, what, am I back in high school again?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it was pretty small town feeling on the biggest stage ever, which was really fun for our whole community to be able to cheer for not only myself but also TJ. You know, obviously everyone has so much pride. And
you have any good embarrassing stories?
Well, man, I feel like I got just walked all the time at the rink. He's so talented and so good, and
Did you ever take him out?
There's definitely a story of us fighting for sure. We're extremely competitive, but we grew up with an amazingly talented, also group of seniors, and those guys were awesome. And so we were at the rink all the time. We had so much fun playing, and we would literally close the rink down at 11:30, 12 o'clock. Sunday nights, you know, the rink guy would just leave and just say, shut off the lights. And so that's kind of our culture in Warren, Minnesota. We just love it.
Did you both know that you were going to probably excel after high school and maybe into the pros?
It was our hope. It was our dream for sure. I mean, you saw TJ won 2 state titles. One was on my brother's team as well. And then he went to North Dakota. I mean, both of us, we have pictures growing up signing the national letter of intent together. Obviously, I have the Gopher jersey on. He has a Sioux jersey. But I think our whole dream was to be the best we could possibly be. And so I'm very appreciative of all the help and support I've gotten along my way. And it's definitely been enjoyable to grow up and learn from him for sure. It doesn't surprise me what he's doing on the ice. It doesn't surprise anyone in the world because we've seen it growing up and we've seen it every single day. You
had 4 letters in hockey, which, I mean, that's crazy and awesome, but doable. But 5 letters in cross country and softball each? Is that correct?
my softball team, we went to state 5 straight years.
So you were playing in junior high?
I was in 8th grade.
You're playing varsity?
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. Were you nervous? I mean, what was it like playing with girls 5 years older? I mean, when you're in junior high, senior in high school, and a junior high student, that's a huge difference. What was that like?
It is socially, for sure, a dramatic change, but I think once, as any athlete would tell you, once you get on the court or the field or the rink, nothing else matters. You know, what grade level you are, what experience level you are, just the talent, your determination, your work ethic. And I just love to compete, and I loved playing. And honestly, I would have played softball for sure. Like after I graduated, had I not been selected on the U.S. team in 2010 for the games. And so I loved it. I couldn't get enough of softball. I had a phenomenal coach. He definitely taught me a ton that translated into hockey with mental prep. And so, you know, we had a good time. We had a very short season in Warroad, you know, because the snow probably didn't leave till like May.
Yeah.
But other than that, we learned to play with like 60 layers on, it seemed like.
Did you ever consider playing both sports in college?
Yeah, I did. Not like legitimately, but like after my 4 years, like I'm not kidding. I loved playing it, and I still love playing it. I love going back and playing catch and going to the girls' games and going to practice. I actually coached on the East Coast when I lived out there, softball, which was awesome.
Cool. And you mentioned that TJ he played for the Sioux, and you obviously played for the Gophers. Why did you choose the University of Minnesota?
Because they were the best. And I knew I also went out to Dartmouth and Harvard just to check out their academics because I was really intrigued by that. But Minnesota sets the bar, and they set it back then. They still set it, in my opinion. And you know, I'm a diehard Minnesota Gopher, and Yeah, everyone in my family, for the most part, except for a couple at that time, had gone to North Dakota. And I remember literally being a little bit nervous because my grandpa started the program there. Yeah, him and his buddies. And so I was like pretty nervous to go to their arch rival.
Yeah.
And so I remember, I'll never forget, like sitting down and talking to him about it, my decision, and asking him if it's okay. And like, gosh, he just looked at me and was like, Gigi, like, I'll cheer for you wherever you play. I'm so proud of you and I love you. And, you know, so it's funny because my family will come to my games. Not my mom and my dad, but like everyone else in the family will come, and none of them will have Gopher stuff. If anything, they'll have Sioux stuff, and then a tiny little Go Gigi on the side. Yeah, it's so, like, they're such diehards. But they'll cheer for me, but they will never cheer for the Gophers.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. Yeah.
What was your best memory playing for the Gophers?
We were able to go to the Frozen Four a couple times. We played for the national title my freshman year, and then went out to Boston my senior year and finished in the Frozen Four. I mean, we had some awesome games against Wisconsin, so we had a WCHA title. I don't know. I loved just all the big games we had against Duluth and Wisconsin, and then obviously in the Frozen Four. But you know, I had remarkable teammates that were so entertaining and made it so enjoyable to go to the rink every day.
Yeah, and you played for the Whitecaps, who actually moved up to the National Women's Hockey League. Do you think there's any chance that you would go back to them now?
It's nice. I mean, Minnesota's been a powerhouse forever, producing men and women elite hockey players, and so Minnesota Whitecaps have been around for a while. And yes, I was able to play with them right after the 2010 games, and so I'm not sure. I'm very excited for and hopeful for the future for women's hockey, and I'm so happy for Minnesota to have a league to play in, and hopefully as the years goes on, that sooner rather than later there'll be one league versus the two leagues, but it is exciting for Minnesota.
What was the first year that you played in the Olympics?
2010.
And what was it like when you found out you were on the team?
Speechless, I guess. We were in Blaine, Minnesota, actually just north of here, and sitting in a conference room, and they just literally read down a sheet, and like the whole time you're sitting there and they say a name, and you're just like, Gigi Marvin. They say a name, because you want to make sure you try to catch it, because you don't want to be that person to be like, what was the name? Did you say this name again? And so when I finally heard my name, it was just incredible to be able to call my parents and call everyone in my family just down the list and tell them the awesome news.
And you guys won silver that year, right?
Yep. Yeah, we took silver.
What was it like getting so close, both in those Olympic Games and then 4 years later, getting so close and getting a silver? I mean, I'm sure you're happy about getting a silver, but at the same time, you're so close to gold. What are the feelings there? Are you happy? Are you sad? What goes through your head? Yeah,
it's a really challenging thing, and most people don't realize that in order to get the silver, you lose. And for us, we get our medals immediately after, whereas say you're it's so different than like any other sport. So if you're a speed skater, for example, you know, so much can go wrong. Like you could wipe out, or like you see people scream with shouts of joy when they get a silver. For us, it's not the case. And so I think that you always have that like confusion with a majority of people kind of getting mad. Why are they crying? It's such a huge honor. And you have to understand, like, it is a huge honor. We get that, but it's also 10 minutes after we just lost something we've been preparing and dreaming for our entire life. And it's definitely heart-wrenching and sad. And like, people are always like, oh my gosh, can you believe the Canadians after? And I'm like, yeah, I can. I've lived that. I've done that 2 times. It's a terrible feeling. Of course you're gonna cry. It's emotional. You invest so much into it, but at the same time, there is this genuine appreciation for what you've accomplished and done. Like, I know that my worth is not in what medal I win. You know, my worth is in Jesus Christ, but we are also called to do everything you possibly can with your gifts that you've been given. And so you want, obviously, to do as much as you can with it. And so that's why I think, again, for myself and 5 other teammates of mine, we've been at 3 Olympics now. And so for us to finally come back with a gold was like, you just smiles. And so we've been there. We've felt it twice, the devastation, but it's really enjoyable to come back with the gold.
When you got the silver in 2014, did you think that was my last chance, or did you feel confident that you'd make the team in 2018?
I don't even know if I was thinking about 2018 by that point, because 4 years is such a long time. Like it's easy I think about athletes now and they're asked the question, you're gonna play one more year, you're gonna play one more year. Like 1 year is a piece of cake. 4 years though, and to get an injury, say, right before, it's so it's just tough because there's a lot that transpires over 4 years, especially like with athletes in their prime and their peak, and then, with training. And so I wasn't thinking about that post 2014, but without a doubt in my heart, I knew that I wanted to compete again and put myself and my teammates in the best possible chance to win the gold medal and come back. And so.
Yeah, and you thought you had a hip injury in 2015, right?
Yeah.
Did you think that was the end of your career, or?
It was by far the hardest thing in my career. I've had broken bones, concussions, like you name it. I've had a ton of injuries, but this was the first time where an entire season was taken away from me. And so like you got the doubt, you got the uncertainty, you got the age, can I get back? And, I was able to and it was a struggle. It was the hardest thing and such a challenge. And that's probably why I'm even more eternally grateful for just the work that was done in my heart in that time, but then also the blessing of being able to skate. I had the biggest smile on my face the whole time. Like it was such a joy because I've seen where I was and now where I was able to be, same with my teammates. And so, it was tough to basically set a whole year aside to rehab from my hip injury. And as any athlete knows, it's challenging to say the least, especially when you have an injury that's not like noticeable. Like you can't see the progression as easily. Like if you have a broken wrist, you can tell when it goes to surgery, and then you have a hard cast and you have a soft cast, then you have just you can see that with with what I was dealing with, or a concussion. It's not as cut and dry of, oh yeah, I can see progress. So it's that adds to it. But definitely the perseverance through that really helped, and so I'm thankful. So
coming back in 2018, number one, what was it like making the team, and then tell me about the experience of the Olympics with that team.
Yeah, so making the team was, again, it's awesome every single time. Like you're sitting in their room and the whole time when they're reading it, every single one has been different. But for the most part, it's reading a list of names. And so you're just so dialed into hearing, whether they start with an L or the last name, then you just constantly Marvin, just say my name, And it's nerve wracking. I was sweating up a storm, but same thing. Once you hear it, there's a flood of joy, tears, appreciation, gratitude. Call everyone tell them the good news. And so it was just amazing. And then going to the Olympics in Korea. First of all, Korea, have you ever been?
No.
It's sick. It's awesome. Like I loved it. It was gorgeous, so clean. The people were so friendly. Picked up quite a few Korean words, which is fun. And then like any Olympian will tell you, it's the coolest to be in the village among other athletes. It's so unreal to go check out other sports like curling. I've never seen a curling game, and I got to go watch them the men win a gold medal. Got to go to figure skating, which was awesome, and a ton of other different things. But yeah, it's so cool. It's like above and beyond what you can ever dream of as a kid, and then just playing the games is by far the best.
Will Gigi Marvin play in the Olympics again?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Will
I said, I'm definitely
to make the team.
Well, I'm definitely going to play this coming year. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. 4 years is a long time.
You don't know where you're playing yet, right?
I don't know where I'm playing yet, but I'm definitely going to play.
Okay. What about coaching?
I've coached for 5 years. I've coached high school, like I mentioned, softball, and then also hockey, and I love it. And I run the Rink Rat 19 hockey school. My aunt and I started it when I was a sophomore, and still love coaching. Like I just love being around little kids and just passing on the knowledge, because I've been surrounded by amazing, brilliant minds to encourage me and to help me get where I'm going. And so it's kind of cool to be able to be a part of someone else's dream and journey and see them grow into who they were created to be.
Definitely. All right, well, before we get too far off track, if you could just kind of talk me through, like, while this is happening, what's going through your head?
Oh, the shootout?
Yeah.
Are we talking through my goal?
Kind of like what's going through your mind when you're getting ready to go take that shot.
All right. Well, the coach kind of calls me up and is like, Gigi, you're shooting first. You got number one, okay? And I'd prepared, like I've done shootouts before. We actually did a shootout the day before, and in practice, and I won that 3 of 4, went in, and which is So I had the biggest smile on my face. Like if you had a camera, I think they caught it actually, the NBC cameraman. I had a huge smile on my face. I'm just chilling at center ice like, are you
Was it that you
kidding
didn't
me?
have time to get nervous?
No,
or
it was just, I genuinely
you had the confidence?
I was so at peace and so prepared, and I like had replayed it in my mind, the move I was gonna do, but
Okay.
as we
Show the move
see,
here.
I didn't.
Okay, so what's happening here?
So I'm coming in and I'm gonna do a forehand fake, pull it to my backhand hard, and then come around. But halfway through my move, I realized the goalie's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why isn't she biting? And realized I missed the puck. I lifted my stick over the puck, and yeah, I lost it. So I didn't plan on that.
But it worked out.
But hey, the puck went in.
It was perfect.
And that's all we needed.
And I like the little celebration move at the end.
Yeah.
Is that a common go-to, or was that just heat of the moment?
Yeah, I'm always a fist pumper. I either go down on one knee and fist pump, or I like throw my fist up. Like I celebrate. Man, I celebrate playing cards or playing pool, or I get fired up.
Okay, what about towards the end of the game? You guys score to go ahead in the goals, and then they have one last chance to tie it. What is going through your head?
That is the worst because I'm more of a spectator, and so I'm sitting on the bench like, oh my gosh, oh my
So
gosh.
you
oh
aren't
my gosh.
watching?
I don't think I watched, no. I would like look up and look down, look up and look down, and even on Joss's goal, I was like, Joss, just go, because she kind of like took her little time, and finally she scored, and I was just like, thank you, and then now it's just up to Maddie.
Did you see this live?
And I don't remember it that well, no, and then
Did you
she
just wait for
saved
the
it, and then
cheers?
everyone went nuts, and everyone's jumping out of the box, and I'm just sitting there like,
Are you on the pile here?
no, I was the
Okay.
last one to the pile, because I was like, I couldn't even, I'm literally the last person to show up. It barely, they're right there, just
nice.
barely in time.
Yeah.
Just
I always
late to
wondered,
the party.
like in hockey, like I could see doing this in baseball maybe. I mean, you got the spikes, but in hockey, like you got blades and you're jumping on each other like that. Is that dangerous?
You know what? I always ask goalies that, because I'm like, do you even want people? Like, people are sprinting at them and they just like dogpile on her, and they're like, no, it's the best feeling ever. I mean, obviously you don't want to get injured, but yeah, I mean, it was.
Do you remember this? Or
Oh yeah, I
like,
remember
the
after, like,
celebration?
but holy smokes during it, because as an athlete, you want to be in control and you want to, and so it was great when I got to shoot, but then it's just kind of like you're just watching, you're a spectator, and so I can understand how people felt at home. People are like, Gigi, I was emotionally exhausted after your game. Like I was so stressed, but so excited, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know, I was watching the shootout. It was pretty intense, but Maddie, like, people saw it too, like our goalie had a smile on her face in the shootout, the biggest game of her life, one shooter left to win it, and she's just smiling, like, I got this.
Did you sleep that night?
No, yeah, like an hour probably.
Okay.
I honestly,
I'm sure every time
none
you woke
of us
up,
slept.
you were just like remembering it again.
Yeah, it was very tough. I don't know how many people even, to be honest, slept very much. Even when we come back from America, we went on a 10-day tour, which was so cool, from LA to Florida, DC, New York, New Jersey. I mean,
I'm sure
it
the
was just
media
constant.
requests were just out of control.
Really, it was really cool, but.
That's awesome. So where do you go from here? After, I mean, you have some more hockey left in you, it sounds like. Do you think after hockey's done, you'll continue to be part of hockey in some way, shape, or form the rest of your life?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love the sport, and so whether it's being a color commentator, whether it's being an analyst or coaching, or being the best cheerleader at my niece and nephew and my little cousin's games, I'm in, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely stay in touch with hockey and be a part of it.
That's cool. And I've also, when doing research for this interview, your faith has come up a lot. Tell me what that means to you. And I've heard you also say that it's not being religious, that's not part of your faith, that's not part of being a Christian. What does that mean, number one? And then number two, Christians talk about being saved. What does that mean? What does being saved mean?
Yeah,
and how does one become saved?
Right. So, I mean, people always ask, like, are you religion? Are you this? Are you that? And then what's your religion? And it's, you know, religion is more so, for me, it's more about like a performance-based mentality. What do you need to do in order to qualify? And you know, it took a while, but like Jesus didn't come to set rules up. Like he came to bring us life. It's not what I do, but what he did for me and on the cross. And so just understanding that it's a relationship, like God is literally active in our lives, and we can talk to him through prayer, which yes includes us telling him things, but it also includes listening. Like he's the God of the universe who actually cares about us. And so it has just helped me, you know, I've just doing that shift, because if you're performance based, like I'm devastated after a silver because my worth is tied up in what I earn or what I make or what I receive or the accolades I get or how many likes people give me on Twitter, versus knowing my identity is in what God has called me, what he has done for me. And so I guess for me, being saved, like you mentioned, is just kind of coming to a point of realizing, you know, there's so much, these other things can't fill me up, but Jesus Christ can, and he came and died for me to live with him like in eternity, but also just have a right relationship right now. And, you know, I just am so grateful because, you know, who am I with all the stuff that is, one, the brokenness in this world, but the sin that, you know, will either choose to do or like kind of talked about like just sin, like evils in this world as well as good. And so just allowing Jesus to just say, hey, here's my life, take it. You know, you died on the cross for me. Like, I want to live out your purposes and help me to be the person you created me to be, versus one chasing after money or fame or popularity or, you know, something that's never coming with me. And that's the thing, people are like, oh, you worked really hard for that. I'm like, yes, of course, there's a measure of what I've done. But at the root of it, if you start at the raw materials, like I didn't create my ability to think. I don't even understand it. Like genetically, like I didn't create my ability to skate or the ability to process information or any of that, you know? It was all given to me from God. And I think, yes, I've done stuff with what he's given me, but I didn't create any of that. Yeah. Like I can't lay claim to it. And so for me, just my heart is to just live that out and let his relationship shine through, and just his love and what he's done in me. Like I can't take credit for any of it, like not any of it. And so I just want just that peace to transcend and just let others know too. It's just kind of about being at ease and letting God live through you and letting him kind of lead your life, I guess, and surrendering that to him.
Cool. All right. Well, Gigi, thank you so much. Congratulations. Yeah. And yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.